A big shout out and thank you to our featured sponsors.
Special thanks to Jane Haas Photography for sharing your elegant space with the Nurtured Woman podcast. Elevate your online presence effortlessly with Jane Haas's personal brand photography. Don't settle for less. Book your transformational session today. Call 732-673-9893.
Get your home summer ready with Bleaches NC. Is your carpet looking tired or stubborn stains and odors lingering? Let Bleaches NC IICRC certified specialists use advanced technology to give your carpets and upholstery a fresh, sanitized look. Safe for your family and pets, they'll make your home feel like new. Mention the Nurtured Woman podcast for 15% off your first cleaning. Call 984-51-GRIME or 984-514-7463 today.
Relocating to a new area can be stressful, especially when you're not sure where to start. That's where Kristen Dorninger, an expert real estate agent with Southern Homes of the Carolinas, comes in. With extensive knowledge of the Lake Norman area, Kristen is here to guide you in finding the perfect home. Whether you're moving across the country or just across town, she'll make the process smooth and straightforward. Call Kristen at 704-928-6573 today and let her help you find the right community to call home.
Welcome to The Nurtured Woman, a podcast bringing you conversations from a wide range of guests, from medical and wellness practitioners to wine and culinary experts, fashion leaders, and other trusted field insiders. Join me, Michelle Droll, your guide, as we delve into topics that inspire you.
Good morning, friends. I've got something extra magical lined up for you today. I'm sitting down with Lindsay Smith, an expert travel planner with Marvelous Mouse Travels, and trust me, she knows all the tricks for planning the ultimate Disney adventure. We're diving into everything Disney, tips, insider secrets, can't miss experiences, and how to turn your next trip into a dream come true. If Disney is your happy place, or you want it to be, this is an episode you do not want to miss. Let's get into the magic.
Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here. I love talking about Disney.
One of the things that I found interesting when you and I had our first conversation was that Disney is not just for the kids. It's not just about the rides. There are many other ways to enjoy it, and I want to start off this morning talking about those. So you had said to me whether you love art, food, festivals, golfing, marathons, whether you're obsessed with Halloween or just enjoy a little seasonal fun, there's something magical happening around Disney. So let's dream a little. If I said girls getaway, long weekend style, what would your perfect itinerary look like? Share your top 5 or 6 must-do experiences. What would make it the ultimate girls trip?
Girls' weekends are the best, and I personally have at least one a year at Disney. There are so many great multi-bedroom accommodations on site because girls like to stay together so they can all hang out. We like to be able to congregate in the evenings and the mornings and just be together. I would stay in one of the multi-bedroom villas where we've all got time to hang out and get ready. A lot of people don't know that there are spas on site. So there is a spa at the Grand Floridian, which would be a fantastic way for girls to hang out. You've also got specialty lounges and bars. The Enchanted Rose at the Grand Floridian is one of my favorites.
Why?
It's really plush. It doesn't feel like Disney. A lot of people think that Disney is all characters everywhere and it's all animation in your face. And it's really not that everywhere. The Grand Floridian especially has a lot of subtle Disney accents, but still feels very luxury and very plush, which I think is perfect for a girls' weekend. A lot of fun things. You can actually do a Sangria University.
What happened
there? You learn about the different types of sangria and how to make it and the tasting. And so you can go through an entire Sangria University with your girlfriends. So there are just so many great little things that you can do that would be just fantastic for a girls' trip that doesn't feel like you're sitting in the middle of a cartoon, but more like a luxury getaway for you and your friends.
All right. And so what park would you recommend for a long weekend for the girls?
So it depends on how your group wants to travel. If you're really interested in food and drink, Epcot would be perfect. You can spend your way going through the countries, trying different things. I would say a lot of girls also like to go to Magic Kingdom. It's just fun to go with your girlfriends and be a kid again and get dressed up in all the Disney gear. And a lot of people like to do photo sessions in front of the castle. So you can book 20-minute photo sessions. So you've got really great photos of you and your friends. So it really just depends on what the groups like to do, but those are the two most popular for sure.
All right. Well, thank you for the explanation on what makes a fun girls' long weekend. What about the specialty festivals? I know they have a food and wine, they've got an art festival. Tell me about those and then describe what a day might look like for someone who's interested in these events.
Absolutely. So Epcot will run different festivals throughout the year. It normally kicks off with the Festival of the Arts, the International Festival of the Arts. And this includes culinary arts, visual arts. You even have Broadway performers that you can see for free at Epcot, which is amazing. So you can purchase art, you can watch different performances that are special only to that particular event. So it is really fun. My husband and I actually attend this every year. We get to meet artists. We get to see them paint art live. And so we like to take a special piece home with us every year. And so that's something that we do together. And we do leave the kids at home because this is our adult trip that we really enjoy. So after that, you'll go into the Flower and Garden Festival. If you have anyone who loves being outdoors, seeing beautiful topiaries, the flowers are amazing at Epcot. Anybody who really enjoys it. And this could extend a family or a girls trip out to being a mom and daughter or a grandmother. All of the flower and gardening, I have found a lot. It's a great mom-daughter trip for them to do. And then the Food and Wine Festival is huge. If you're a foodie, if you are a wine lover, there are specialty booths all throughout Epcot for you to taste different things. I always tell a little tip to guests who are going during Food and Wine, don't plan formal dining reservations. You want your stomach to be empty so you can go and taste throughout the day. That festival is meant for grazing and taking your time and enjoying all of the food from the different booths in different countries.
Oh, that sounds like a fun time. I think I would like that. I'm going to say to you now, another group, golf lovers. Anything to bring them down to Disney besides, of course, the parks?
Absolutely. A lot of people don't realize that there is a golf course right in the area. It's the Lake Buena Vista Golf Course. I actually do have some groups who go, and maybe the father and son might go play a round of golf while the girls have a spa day in the morning. That's a great alternative to the parks. Saratoga Springs is one of my favorite resorts for a golf trip. The feel and the vibe, you have the turf club there that you can eat at, which is great. You also have the feeling, I want to say like a derby feeling, but it's a great resort. And so a lot of people just don't realize that golf is there. And even many golf lovers, there are too many golf courses on Disney property that you can go and play with your family. You've got your kids who want to go out and play a little round of golf. Great. And a lot of times that can be included. One round of golf can be included with your magical extras that you get for staying on property. So there's golf for the little ones and there's golf for the adults.
So when you travel to Disney, you don't have to necessarily be in a park all day. Maybe you go in the morning, maybe you go at night, and then your trip is interspersed with these different specialty events.
Absolutely. Because a lot of people think, if I'm going, I have to be in the park from park open to park closed. And I don't think that's necessarily the case. You can get so much done in the morning because a lot of times the crowds really don't pick up until 11 or 12 o'clock, around midday. You can get a lot done in the morning, head out around lunchtime, go grab something to eat, go do something different in the middle of the afternoon. And then you can go back in the evening and stay until park close. And so there's a lot of ways to take a break from those park crowds, but still enjoy your parks during the day.
Got it. Okay. I want to know now about the series of Run Disney. I know that Disney hosts a number of different marathons. Talk to me about a trip for someone who's a runner.
I love Run Disney. I have run... It's over 10 races at this point. I've probably been running Run Disney races for the past decade. They are so fun all throughout the year. So you would check on rundisney.com. They will have all of their races scheduled throughout the year. Tip, getting into some of these is highly competitive. So I always recommend marking down the date that the bids go on sale.
Smart move.
And the entry, you've got to be on there right when it opens. These are extremely popular.
Why? What makes going to Florida for Run Disney so much better than, say, a marathon in your hometown? Are you running through the parks?
You are running through the park. So the course will change depending on the events. You've got marathon weekend, you've got the Princess Half, you have the Wine and Dine Half Marathon.
Oh.
So you've got all kinds of events throughout the year, but you will see the happiest bunch of people you've ever met to be up at 5 and 5:30 in the morning, head to toe Disney gear, ready to go. It is the most fun event. And you don't have to run the whole thing. There are character stops, photo opportunities, gospel choirs, bands, videos of Disney movies playing. DJs. Disney makes this fun. This is not your average course.
So you're not meant to run the whole thing necessarily at once?
There are people that do, but I would say the vast majority enjoy the experience. And so I think the pace is like a 16-minute average pace. As long as you can keep that up, stop by and get a photo with your favorite character on the side. Take a minute to stop in front of the castle when you run through Magic Kingdom and get your photo. And people do it for fun. That's another great girls' weekend. I think we talked about girls' weekend. I can't tell you the number of girls groups that get together and run the Princess Half Marathon together. It is so much fun, and they have the best time.
Now we come to the Halloween fanatic. Tell me about a trip for those who love Halloween.
The Halloween party at Magic Kingdom is probably my favorite thing that Magic Kingdom does all year. It is Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. This is a separate ticketed event, so it's not included with your park tickets, and tickets actually just went on sale for this year's party. It will usually run from late August until Halloween night, and so you've got plenty of time. Costumes are allowed. There are specialty parades. There are specialty fireworks. If you've never seen the Headless Horseman ride through the park, it is an incredible sight to see. They will have specialty things in the rides. For example, they will have live actors in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. It is so much fun. And the amount of candy that you get is out of control. Pack a carry-on for your flight for the candy only because Disney hands out a ton of candy, but it's just such a fun event. This would be a family event. This would be a friends event, depending on how fun you want to be and dress up. The park stays open till midnight. It is just an absolute blast. So it is Halloween lovers love it. And it is not so scary because, of course, Disney's not going to do anything like a haunted house, but they do make it fun for everyone.
Okay. When you and I were talking, you spoke to me about the enchanting extras and how that can take your trip to the next level. Can you give me some ideas of what these enchanting extras are and then maybe even costs around them?
Yeah, so a lot of people think that Disney is just hotels and theme parks and then you're done. There is a whole host of other add-ons that you can do that Disney calls part of their Enchanting Extras collection. There are things like you can rent a pontoon boat on one of the lakes and go fishing. You can, when you're at Animal Kingdom, you can do Caring for Giants and do an animal experience. You can do a Wild Africa trek and do a rope bridge. If you have anyone who is interested in doing a dessert party, you can do those. And so you're not fighting for a space to watch the fireworks. You can book a dessert party where you get snacks and a reserved place to watch the fireworks. There is horseback riding at the Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground. There are so many extra things that you can do that are not necessarily in the park, and some are, but depending on what your family is interested in and what you're interested in, it's not all about the rides. So Disney has tried to provide a comprehensive experience of ways that you can enjoy the parks differently. So if you've been to Disney a million times and you say, I've done it all, there's nothing for me to do until they open up a new land, that's not true. For example, my family is going back in August of this year. I can't tell you how many times we've been, but we have marked this our Enchanting Extras visit. My boys, I have a teenager and a middle schooler. still love Disney, but they've been a million times, and we said, let's make this our Enchanting Extras visit. So we're not focusing on the parks. We're thinking, what haven't we done? And what does Disney offer that we haven't taken advantage of? So we will be doing some of those extra items.
I think several years ago when, and this is going back actually probably more than 10 years, my husband and I and daughter, we had attended Disney. Now we're homeschoolers. And so we wanted a homeschooling experience. And there are so many things you can do behind the scenes that give you that homeschool away from home flavor. Lots of opportunities to learn at Disney.
Absolutely. So Epcot is really great for educational opportunities. You've got not only the countries that you walk through where you can learn about each of the different countries in World Showcase. However, you can also do tours. The Living Live the Land ride, you learn all about crops and how you actually take a little boat through the areas where Disney harvests a lot of the food that they use in their restaurants. They have the fish that they have in there that they actually use in the restaurants. And the Enchanting Extras has something called Behind the Seeds, where they take you backstage and show you that they actually have people who are working there to create a more sustainable park and to actually provide those things in-house where they don't have to outsource them and find better ways to do it. So I always encourage homeschool parents and even parents of young ones, ask even your school about an educational absence. So we did this with my kindergartner.
Good tip.
We had a Disney trip planned and we said, would this qualify as an educational absence? And they said yes. His teacher said if he can do a report, we're kindergartner, do a picture and write a sentence and create a book and present it to the class, it would qualify. So he did a special project on what he learned at Epcot and presented it to the class, and it was considered an educational trip.
And we remember things where we're having fun.
Absolutely.
So that's a wonderful way to transfer that knowledge so we keep it.
And he was more than happy to share with his class. So
I'm
kids
sure.
don't mind doing the extra work when they're excited about something like that.
Next up, we're diving into insider secrets, real savings, and smart planning strategies that can take literally thousands off your Disney trip without sacrificing any of the magic. Lindsay, when we had our conversation, you dropped tip after tip that honestly blew me away. From clever booking strategies to unexpected budget boosters, these are the kinds of tips most families don't hear about until it's too late. So let's get into it. That's pretty significant. Tell me about some of the smartest ways families can save big and still have the trip of a lifetime.
First, the time of year that you visit makes a huge difference, of course. You're going to see higher prices if you travel during the holidays, higher crowds as well. So think about that. You're going to see higher prices. But it's also great when you're thinking about Disney to be flexible a little bit in your travel because you really want to take advantage of those promotions that they release. And Disney's great about that. So if you have some flexibility in your dates, a little bit of flexibility where you want to stay, you can take advantage of a lot of the promotions. Twice this year, Disney has released free dining. That's a massive savings in its own. It sounds like it's not that big of a deal, but when you get to the end of your trip and you add up all of the food and drink and things, you just don't want that sticker shock at the end. So whether it's a free dining promo or it's even adding the dining plan, so you've got that taken care of before you go.
That is a big hit at the end of the trip to look at your credit card and see thousands of dollars. It feels different at the end of the trip to see it than at the beginning of the trip.
Exactly. And I tell families too, don't feel like you have to upgrade to the park hopper ticket. A lot of people think, oh, I want to go to all 4 parks during the day. And you really don't necessarily. I think people do that for fun and it's a novelty to ride something in each, but especially if you have small children, just get the base ticket. Don't pay the extra. Focus on 1 park per day. It slows you down a little bit. It helps you save. And you're not running ragged on transportation, running back and forth. And so that can help save a little bit. You actually can bring food and drink into the park.
They let you do that.
They do. So you do have to be careful about the type of no hard-sided coolers, no glass containers, no food that needs to be reheated. But tons of times when my kids were little, I was like, they're not going to eat. We're going to pay $15 for a meal and they're not going to touch it. So we would have food sent to the hotel, or we would run by a store so you can have food delivered from a grocery delivery service sent to the resort. You can keep that in your room. Pack some snacks in your bag for your kid. Pack a peanut butter and jelly. It's a really easy way to not feel like you are buying every little thing, and take advantage of the free water. Any quick service location will give you a cup of ice water for free, or bring your water bottle in. It's all of those little things that when you think about it, it really starts to add up.
Okay. What about the lightning lane? I know that's really a hot ticket item. No one wants to wait in a line for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Do you recommend it, or what do you think? When is it useful?
I think it is very useful when you have a child that doesn't stand in lines very well, and you can bring things for them to do. You know your kids. I think it's very helpful then. I always say my favorite park for that is Magic Kingdom, because it has a high concentration of rides. You're going to get the most use out of that program there. I will say that you don't have to have it. If that's just not in your budget, don't think that you can't have a great park day. It's really all about planning, and that's where someone like me comes in of saying, okay, what type of rides do you like? Don't waste your time standing in line for this, because it's not the type of thing that your child loves. So say, for example, Space Mountain at Magic Kingdom. Some kids don't like that roller coaster. You know, it's dark. Don't wait an hour to find out that your kids don't enjoy it. Let's talk about the types of things that they want and come up with a plan. Get there early. You're going to get a lot done if you get there when park opens, and if you take advantage of the 30-minute early entry if you're staying on site. Another little tip I like to tell people is, if there is a really popular ride that you just haven't been able to accomplish during the day, go back in the evening, make sure you're in the line before the park closes. Because as long as you're in the line before the park closes, Disney will let you ride it, even though it's past closing time.
So if I walk in at, what time do they close? 10?
It varies, say around 10.
So if I go in a half an hour before the park closes, I can scoot to that place, that ride that I want, and get on, and they won't close the line on me.
Absolutely.
Are there different entrances in Disney where you can hit different areas of the park, maybe where a ride is closer?
So there will be different routes throughout the park. Really, it's looking at a park map and determining which route. Epcot really is a big loop. It depends on the park. Animal Kingdom is going to have more areas where you can cut through from one side to the other. Magic Kingdom as well.
So definitely look at the maps if you're going to take advantage of that going in. And maybe that's something you do with your older kids, because your littles aren't going to be able to walk real fast to get to the ride.
Hand them the map and say, here, plan our route. And when we go in, tell us where to go.
Now, the lightning lane, again, let me circle back on that. Did you say to me at one point that it's not as ideal, the lightning lane, if you're not going to do the thrill rides?
So those are where it's going to make the biggest difference.
Got it.
Because the thrill rides, or the bigger ones, tend to be the most popular.
Sure.
It's all about the popularity, especially a brand new ride. So you've got different levels of the lightning lane. So you've got the multi-pass, which takes care of the bulk of the rides. But then you might have a single. And a lot of times Disney will release the single, and it's a different price because it's a brand new ride. It's a highly popular
ride. What's a single?
Ride. So it would just be for that one ride.
Oh.
So you would purchase it. It is for that one ride only, and you select a time. So for like when Splash Mountain was reimagined and it became Tiana's Bayou, you could do a virtual queue, or you could do the single you could purchase. And so a lot of times you couldn't even get in the regular standby line. So sometimes it is necessary to purchase it if you're not able to get a virtual queue. There's a lot of things, and it sounds confusing because there's a lot of processes that Disney will do to help manage crowds. And so a lot of times with my clients, I tell them, let's wait until a couple weeks before travel, and then I'll give you the final plan, because things can change based on how popular something is.
Okay. The dining plan. That makes the trip more expensive, but it makes it less stressful, and it makes it more memorable. I know we're talking about ways to save money, but can you address that here?
Yeah. So I always say, think of the dining plan as making Disney an all-inclusive resort. It's a great way to think about it. You wouldn't think twice about paying for your food as part of an all-inclusive resort package. Disney's the same way. I always tell parents that the dining plan can be the yes plan because it includes a snack. So if you've got kids who really want that Mickey bar every day and they're constantly asking, can I have this snack? Can I do this? Yes. Because it really is, I tell people to think of it as a bank. You don't have to use all of the meals. You don't have to do one quick service, one table, and one snack every day. You have a bank for the trip. So if you have a child who has melted down and you didn't get anything that you wanted to do done one day because they were so tired, you don't lose those credits. They're there for you to use for the rest of the trip.
Yeah. And as you're saying that, I'm thinking I would not want to be there with my 8-year-old asking for a Mickey ice cream and have to say no and then deal with the meltdown for the next hour.
Yes.
So if you're going to do Disney,
especially with young ones, and it feels great to be able to say yes. And there's 2 different versions. So there's the quick service plan and there's the full plan.
okay, so let's talk about how to save money with the quick service plan.
The quick service, if you have no interest in sitting down and having someone serve you, so a table meal, think of a restaurant where you have a server to bring you your meal. That takes longer. If your child wants to go and you don't want to waste time, stick with the quick service plan. That's your think fast food restaurants. You walk up to a counter when it's convenient for you and you get the food and you eat and you move along with your day. And so that plan is less expensive because you're not having that full sit down experience.
So then in the evenings, how would you do dinners cheaply?
So in the evenings, so a lot of families like to do this, and this is fun. So if you're going to watch, say, the fireworks or sometimes nighttime show, because most places have it, families love to go get a quick service meal and then sit down and eat together as they wait for the show to start. They claim their spot. You can get a quick service meal and share. So if you don't have the dining plan, some of them are huge. So you could order one and share. And so a lot of people like work it into your day and don't feel like everyone has to have a meal every time. Because if you're taking advantage of the snacks throughout the day, chances are you probably don't want a full meal for dinner.
Yeah. When we did Disney, we did do the dinner plan. And I will say there is a stress with always having to have the dinner that you paid for up front. It was wonderful. We got to experience so much in terms of the different countries in Epcot, and I would recommend it. But I will say you can't always necessarily get a dinner at an ideal time. So there was always this rush of, let's squeeze in the park so we can go get dinner.
And I do have some families who come back and say, the plan with the table service was just too much food.
Right.
We're not used to eating that much.
Yes.
And that's completely understandable. But I have other families that say, I needed that hour and a half air conditioning for all of us to get off of our feet and reset. And we needed that every day.
So this is the conversation you have with them as the Disney planner. You walk them through all of those different scenarios.
Absolutely. And then we determine which one's best for you. And if neither are best for you, that's fine too. I'll provide you still with my recommendations for my favorite restaurants, quick service, and then you can just eat as it works within your schedule.
We're coming right back. Don't go away. Expert cleaning you can trust. Is your carpet looking tired? Stains that won't budge? Smell not so pleasant? We've got you covered. At Bleaches NC, our IICRC certified specialists use state-of-the-art cleaning technology to remove dirt, stains, smells, and allergens from your carpets and upholstery, leaving them fresh, sanitized, and looking their very best. We take pride in long-lasting results with a meticulous approach that's safe for your family and pets. Exclusive offer, mention the Nurtured Woman podcast and save 15% on your first cleaning. Call 984-51-GRIME or 984-514-7463 to book your appointment today. That's Bleaches NC. Did you know that homes listed with the real estate agent sell faster and for more money than those sold by the owner? It's true. And when it comes to selling, no one works harder for you than Kristen Dorninger, a trusted real estate agent with Southern Homes of the Carolinas. She knows the Lake Norman market inside and out, and she's got the marketing, the strategy, and the negotiation skills to get your home sold for top dollar. If you're thinking of selling, don't just list it. Sell it smarter with Kristen. Call Kristen Dorninger today at 704-928-6573. Welcome back to The Nurtured Woman. Now let's dive back into our conversation.
So we are trying to find ways to shave off the expense, right? Disney's expensive any way you cut it. but there are definitely ways where you can save hundreds, if not $1,000 or $2,000, depending upon the choices that you make. With that in mind, families are going to have budget pinch points. The costs are going to hit. What is a way to try to smooth out those budget hits?
I always recommend that we come up with a payment plan, if you will, that works best for you. Unfortunately, it's far too often that someone will book a trip and they're all excited at the time that they book it and they forget about it. And even though I'm sending reminders about one thing or tips or reminders as we're planning, if I reach out to you and I tell you, hey, your payment's due in a week, and you think, oh my gosh, I completely forgot to budget for this, you can make payments throughout. And I'm happy to help with that. That's one of those things I say, come up with a plan of what is feasible for you to put towards the trip monthly. Think about that and pay it down gradually. And another thing is, if we were able to find a discount when you first booked, I'm looking for those when they're released if you're my client. So you don't have to do anything. The minute that Disney drops a promotion, I am jumping in and I am looking at everyone who is traveling and I'm seeing if it applies to anyone. And if it does, I grab it. Or if I see that you are at Port Orleans Riverside, but French Quarter, who's right next door, will help you save $400 because they have a promotion, then I will tell you, we need to move you.
These are the benefits of having a planner.
Benefits. Let's move.
You're
you
always
next
on the
door.
job.
Exactly.
And if somebody works full time, they're not going to be able to see those when they're released and then may lose the opportunity.
Absolutely.
So as a Disney planner, you plan for all ages, right? You'll plan for adults, long weekends, but you plan for the littles too, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. So talk to me about what makes a great first-time Disney trip for young kids.
It feels weird saying this as a travel planner, but not over planning. Kids are fickle. And I took my youngest for the first time when he was 1.5. We would have a great day, then a bad day, then a great day, then a bad day. And flexibility is key. I don't know that a lot of people realize that children 2 and under are free.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
2 and under are free. I think it is a fantastic time to go. And I have people tell me, oh, but they're not going to remember it. Mom and Dad, this trip is not for them. It's for you. Mm-hmm. They are getting to see their favorite cartoon characters live and in person. And seeing their little faces when that happens is incredible. Not only do they get into the park for free, but you carry those memories with you. And it is absolutely wonderful. And Disney is so set up and caters so well to small children. Each park has a baby care center. So if you need a place where if your 1-year-old has had enough and you need a quiet place for them to nap, go into the baby care center. And it's quiet. They have rocking chairs. They have couches.
Oh, sweet.
It's wonderful. And each changing room, on each bathroom, male and female, has changing areas. They are very well equipped for that. You can do a rider switch. So if a child is too young to ride a ride or doesn't want to, you can tell the cast member. They will let part of your family ride and then take the other half when you come out and put them into the front of the line so they can ride. So they do a switch program.
Very nice.
To make it easy. You can get a first haircut at the barber shop in Magic Kingdom. I mean, there are just so many great things for little ones. And I got chills thinking about that because I have cried many a time on Main Street watching a little one's face light up at seeing the castle. I just say take that first trip. Those pictures, those memories, they don't remember it, but they sure do love it when they're there. And it really is a great time to take them.
And what parent doesn't love to see their kids with a huge smile on their face?
Oh, absolutely. And even the resorts, there are fantastic resorts. Art of Animation is one of my favorites. Highly themed, highly animated, but they have fantastic family rooms where there is a separate suite for the parents and a full bathroom that you can close off, a separate bathroom for the kids, and extra beds, one that pulls down and has a nightlight over it. Disney has cribs and pack and plays on site that you can request for the rooms.
Convenient.
So you don't have to take that with you. There are just so many ways to make it easy for families to travel, even with the smallest children.
Do you have any tips for making memories from a parent's perspective?
Yes. So one of my favorite tips or little tricks is when you have small children, let them wear the free button that says my first trip and have their name. The characters will greet them by name and it blows their mind. If you want to think about something that is so magical, is to have a character walk up to your child, say Belle walks up to your daughter.
My daughter would lose her mind.
Absolutely. And they don't know, oh, hey, my name is right there on the front. They're not thinking that. Their eyes get so big and they think, how do they know my name? And even the people who are working the quick service counters will call them by name. So these cast members really try to create that sense of magic, especially for the smallest ones. So that's one of my tips is everything with the name, even if it's the free button that you can get from the front desk, put their name on it.
That is so special. I want to add to this. I remember when we had gone to Disney, we were at a restaurant in Epcot, and my daughter was all dressed up because she had gone to the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. So she had her hair done, her nails done. She had on a beautiful princess dress. She felt amazing. And so when we were at the restaurant, the waitress asked my daughter if she would like to kick off the fireworks at Epcot. Oh, gosh, she still remembers this, and she's 17 now. So they give her a wand that's all lit up and glittery, and they help her to choreograph the wand, the shaking of the wand. And just as she encourages her to tap the wand in the air, the fireworks go off in Epcot. My daughter will never forget it because she thought she kicked off the fireworks at Epcot.
We have a similar story. When Magic Kingdom used to have families that would open the park, we got selected as one of the families, and our boys were little. But before that, we got to go into the train station and meet all the characters who were waiting to come out to greet everybody. And we still laugh and have photos because the evil stepsisters were there. And they were in the corner discussing which one of my children, which they were probably 6 and 3 at the time, which one was the biggest heir that had the biggest amount of money for them to marry. And you could hear them having the conversation about which one. And they would walk up. So they just thought it was so funny to have the evil stepsisters fighting over them about which one had more money that they could marry. And they were just so in character. So they're just great.
You got great Disney. They know how to do it. So is there a secret to knowing when Disney is going to release a special promotion or a package? Because I hear from time to time that there's a free dining plan. And I think, wow, I'm going to do that. And then I miss the opportunity. So what is the strategy that they use? Like, I want to know that in advance so I can take advantage of these things when they're going to come out.
So a lot of times it's really hard to get into the mind of Disney, of their team, of how they decide what promotions to run and when. A lot of times you will see, of course, promotions for slower occupancy times. Like any business, they are trying to increase occupancy and get people in the parks if it's a lower time that they're recognizing. A lot of times the secret to grabbing those deals is really just going ahead and booking the trip. Just go ahead and book it. And then have someone like me watching out for those deals. And that way you're getting it before it either becomes unavailable, because it is limited. So just because Disney says they have free dining doesn't mean that every resort is going to have it throughout the life of the deal in every room category.
Good to know.
They have allotted a certain amount for particular resorts, for room categories. So being early is key. And the best way to do that is just to go ahead and have your trip ready to go. Or you don't want to book yet, letting your travel planner know, we would really like to travel during this time frame. Please keep us in mind for when promotions are released and let us know, and we'll be ready to book.
So if you've already booked your trip and different packages are released, you can still take advantage of those packages. And in fact, that's the best way to have already booked to take advantage.
Absolutely. Because Disney is so great and flexible about letting you take advantage of promotions. So even if you already have one, but a better one is released, they'll let you switch.
I love it.
Yes. And I wish I could say there was a secret. I know you and I were talking about 2026 packages.
Yes.
Those aren't out yet.
When are they coming out?
We don't know. That is so I went back because I was like, I know I need to give a little bit of data on this. When we were looking at 2024 packages, they were released in May of 23. When we were looking at 2025 packages, they were released in February of 24. There's really just no way to know. Usually it's by the summer. Usually it's late spring, early summer. But if Disney anticipates that people are really ready to go, they've got new things opening in the parks, they may release it early. And you may have a situation like last year where it's February when those packages are out and ready.
So we should start looking, stay on top of that if you're looking for 2026 packages.
Absolutely.
Okay. Going back to something you had said earlier, there's this idea of booking blind. What does that mean, and how does it help someone grab flash deals that you're hinting at?
So the booking blind would be to book at what we call the rack rate. No discounts, standard rate. You've got your room, your tickets, and you just have your package set up. Disney has great low deposits. It is only $200 to hold the package. That's it. And it doesn't matter if you're in a value resort or a deluxe resort. It is a flat $200 to hold the package. You are possibly booking, so say that 2026 is released this summer, and you go ahead and book for next April. You are most likely going to book a rack rate or a standard rate because the promotions are not available yet. You're booking with the hopes, fingers crossed, that you will be able to get a promotion. That's when it's great to let your travel planner know, hey, we're really looking for a free dining plan, or we have flexible dates. So if a promotion comes out and that what we want, we have to move our trip by a couple weeks, let us know because we'll move it, or our dates are firm. So let me know if anything comes out. You're booking blind, but you're also then saying, hey, I really want to travel. And you're giving someone like me the tools to say, but here's what I need and here's my flexibility and help me make it happen when those promotions are available.
So this is a great segue to talking about a Disney planner. Why do we want a Disney planner? What are the benefits? And then what is the cost for your assistance?
So in my opinion, I have all travel Disney planners are probably the most invaluable. Disney can be complicated. And I hear so many people, and it makes me very sad to hear someone come back and say, I couldn't get in this restaurant. I don't understand why I couldn't do this. We missed this entry. And a lot of times the answer is because they didn't have anyone in their corner telling them what they needed to do when they needed to do it. It can be very stressful if you go in the parks with no research, no history, you don't have things set, you don't know what you're doing. And it can be overwhelming.
It's like a trip to Europe. You got to know what
Right.
you want to do, where you want to go.
You got to know. And a lot of times that also can lead to you're talking about the cost. That can lead to so much more cost that you didn't need to spend because you don't know what you're doing. And you're like, oh, maybe I need to do this and spend this money. And maybe you don't because it's not something that's really going to work out for your family. So I always say, let a Disney travel planner walk you through it and help find out what you really want to do and be in your corner. We're all different. We are all independent and we all manage our businesses differently. There are some planners that will charge a fee, and that is great for their business model. And there may be certain things that they offer. I personally do not. A lot of people, what they don't know is, yes, Disney does pay me as a travel planner based on the package that I booked, but you're not paying more. It's already built in there for you. So it's built in whether you're going to call a Disney agent and have to wait online and wait for someone to speak to, or you just shoot me an email and say, here's what I need.
So wise to take advantage of the service because
Absolutely.
You're offering it
Absolutely.
at no cost.
And I think there's a discussion about whether it should be a fee or not. And I don't think it's a discussion about whether a travel planner charges a fee or not. It's what can they help you do and bring to the table, and someone that understands the type of trip that you want to take.
This is a great time for you to tell us about your experience and background and the company that you work for.
Yes. So I have been a travel planner for 7 years. I work for Marvelous Mouse Travels. And so there's about 300 of us. And of course, the company started out very Disney focused, hence the Marvelous Mouse. but a lot of us plan all types of vacations. And so I started out Disney because that was where my love and my expertise was. But through the years, I've started planning a lot of everything. And that includes, of course, the neighboring Universal Orlando, the competition over there, but cruises and all-inclusive trips and river cruises and European vacations. And so now I just love travel in general. And so anything that I can help plan and learn about and provide my expertise, I'm in.
So I understand you are a platinum planner, which means what?
The platinum planners sell over $1 million and have $1 million in traveled vacations each year.
So you are
or
very
more.
experienced.
Very experienced, very busy, but that's great because this is one of these things that started out, I don't want to say as a hobby, it was more of something I enjoyed doing. But I was like, this is something I want to do all the time, every day. And so this is what my full-time job. And I love it.
And so you've been a part of that company for quite a while. And you had shared with me, you had created a master class. What was that all about?
I am currently the groups coordinator for the agency. So I have a lot of expertise in group travel. And so I am the person in the agency who helps other agents when they have large groups traveling, make sure contracts are in line, providing tips on how to do that. And the agency has a program called Steps to Success that agents can take for additional training. And so I helped create a masterclass on groups, tons of information on organization, how to find groups. Really, I call it a reference. It's more of a reference manual than it is a training. But yeah, so groups is another one of my loves and specialties. And so I do a lot of that as well for the agency.
It sounds like anyone who calls you would be in very good hands.
Thank you.
I'm going to circle back here to this idea of, did I hear you say river cruises
Yes.
in Europe?
Yes.
Oh, that sounds like fun. So you plan river cruises. What's the benefit of a river cruise versus, say, a conventional trip?
River cruising is something new to me over the past probably 3 years. My first one was 3 years ago. The best way I heard a river cruise described is river cruising takes you through places, ocean cruising takes you to places. So you are able to get to small towns, specifically in Europe and throughout, that you would not be able to get to from an ocean cruise. Ocean cruises are typically larger ports. River cruises, small boats, usually 150 to 175 people. They're able to pull right up into small towns. You can walk.
Lovely.
It's wonderful. And the tie to Disney, which a lot of people don't know this, On the Waterways is a family. Not all cruises have kids on them. Viking does not, but On the Waterways does. And On the Waterways has partnered with Adventures by Disney. And so you have cruises that have Adventures by Disney on the boat with you. They are helping create family activities off of these cruises. And so it's a neat way, if you love Disney, to expand out and get a different experience.
So these river cruises, they can be catered to families or they can be catered to couples or...
So I have typically the age group of a river cruise is going to be an average of around 50 to 60 and above. We've noticed that trending downward a little bit. Some of the ones that I've been on, I've noticed honeymooners. It seems that more couples, more so in their 40s, is trending down by about a decade because it really just is an easy button for Europe. Your hotel travels with you. You can easily wander on and off the boat. It's a really very intimate experience that is not like ocean cruising to me at all.
It sounds like an easy trip for someone first experiencing Europe.
Absolutely.
You don't have to find the hotels. You don't have to figure out your own events. They're doing that for you. It's been curated to be very special.
Absolutely. You are really just walking off the boat directly into a city. It's no going down to the second deck and scanning in and having to go through that whole process that you go for river cruising. You tap your key card when you walk off the boat. They say, great, we'll see you later. Don't forget the boat leaves at this time. You walk off. And it's also, like I said, much smaller, very intimate. And you have a cruise manager there that is always available. So if you don't know something about a city, if you have a question, that person is talking to you every night and has a wrap up and a cocktail with you every single night and says, I'm here. What
I
do you
need that. I'd be
Yeah,
there for the
they're
cocktail.
fabulous. They're fabulous. My last one, we didn't want to do whatever the excursion was that was offered, and we wanted to go off on our own in Austria. And we asked her, what do we do? And she said, oh, yeah, here's my favorite restaurant, and here's what you should do. It was seamless, and we did it, and it was wonderful. And so it's a really easy Europe experience.
So is it just a one-day excursion? You get back on at 5, or do they do a couple of days off on land?
So it varies. Depending on where you are, you might have an excursion you can take in the morning and then the afternoon. So most people are back on the boat for lunch. They're scheduled for you to be able to eat your lunch on the boat.
Nice.
That's how close you are.
Okay.
It's easy. Some days you might be sailing all morning, and so you're sitting up on the deck, and everything is so close because it's a river. You're just enjoying scenery.
Which rivers are we talking about?
So the Danube is the largest. So you've got the
yes, of
Danube.
course.
You have the Rhine. You have the Rhone. You have, Elbe. You have, so there's down in Portugal. So you've got a couple of the Mekong River cruises. There's so many different areas to see. And a lot of them will range anywhere from 7 to 14 days.
I love it. I would go 14 days.
Absolutely.
This has been enlightening. So much fun to talk Disney. Now I want to book a trip.
Let's do it.
How can others find you? You will book for anybody anywhere in the country, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. I think I might have said that earlier. How do we reach you?
The easiest way is most people find me on Facebook. And so you can find me. It's Lindsay Smith, Marvelous Mouse Travels.
Spell Lindsay for me.
I'm Lindsay with an A, so I'm Lindsay. So Lindsay Smith, Marvelous Mouse Travels. I'm also on Instagram. You can also email me, and that is lindsay.smith, Lindsay with an A, lindsay.smith at Marvelous Mouse Travels, and travels does have an S.com. Or you can give me a call, shoot me a text, and we can set up a time to talk. And that number, do you mind? Yeah. Okay. I was going to say it's 207-370-9748.
Fantastic. In this episode, we sat down with Lindsay Smith, an expert travel planner from Marvelous Mouse Travels, to explore the enchanting world of Disney. Lindsay shared invaluable tips and insider secrets about planning the ultimate Disney adventure. If you're ready to make your Disney dreams come true, connect with Lindsay today. She'll guide you every step of the way to plan a magical, stress-free vacation you'll never forget. That wraps up today's episode of The Nurtured Woman. Thanks for joining me, and I look forward to sharing more adventures with you next time.
Want to get your business in front of an engaged audience? Podcast ads boost brand awareness by 28%. That means more people remembering you. The Nurtured Woman podcast is the perfect place to share your message. We'll craft a custom ad and feature it in the middle of the show. Don't miss this chance to connect with our listeners in a meaningful way. Let's get your business heard. Reach out today to Michelle Droll at mdroll@lknconnect.com. A big thank you to our featured sponsor, Bleaches NC, your expert carpet and upholstery cleaning service. From stubborn stains to odors, they tackle it all with safe, effective solutions. Don't forget, mention the Nurtured Woman podcast for 15% off your first cleaning. Call 984-51-GRIME today. Buying a home is a huge decision, and Kristen is the realtor you want by your side. Professional, trustworthy, and genuinely invested in finding the right home for you. Kristen handled all the details and made the process seamless for my family. Whether you're buying or selling, Kristen is here to guide you every step of the way. Call Kristen Dorninger at 704-928-6573, agent with Southern Homes of the Carolinas.